Donald Trump doesn't like the First Amendment, and he doesn't like it being expressed by a former employee, now ultimate whistleblower insider, Elon Musk, because Donald Trump wasted scarce political capital to take to an NBC News phone interview in which he said that if Elon Musk jumps off sides and starts supporting Democratic candidates in the midterm elections, there'll be severe and serious consequences. Sounds a lot like a president who's unhinged, who has decided that he's going to retaliate from his bully pulpit and take away Elon Musk's First Amendment rights. It's consistent with those around him, like Steve Bannon, the guy that was in prison, who claims that Elon Musk is an illegal alien that should be deported and his contracts and his businesses taken away from him. But now with the new direct threats, he's not even using proxies anymore. It shows you what a level of insanity we are in, that Donald Trump is doing the dirty work himself in attacking Elon Musk. And it matters for the midterms, and it matters to get an understanding of the state of mind, that weird stew of a brain that's going on with Donald Trump as we find ways to exploit it. And we exploit it, we will, here on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Let's dive in to the latest TikTok reporting. I don't mean TikTok, I mean moment-by-moment reporting related to this blowout of epic proportion between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I'll connect why it matters. There was a phone interview with NBC. I guess it's Donald Trump's new favorite network, phoning in and saying he's not going to reconcile, despite the fact that MAGA elected officials want him to, because that war between, this Godzilla and Martha, the only ones that are going to be seriously injured in it are going to be the MAGA congresspeople running for office, because they don't know where to turn. They want Elon Musk's money. They don't want him to fund people against them in primaries and otherwise. And they need Donald Trump's support and not his vindictiveness over the next couple of years until we get to the midterms. Midterms are, of course, right around the corner, less than, we're coming up to a year and a half to the midterms. So that battle's going on. Donald Trump takes to NBC News and he says, not reconciling. Okay. Serious consequences, warning to Elon Musk if he sides with Democrats. Sounds like he's trying to take away his First Amendment rights. 3, on the Epstein files, where Elon Musk effectively called Donald Trump a pedophile, or at least linked him closely together. We know from other reporting, there's been 7 different trips in which Donald Trump couldn't use his own jet. He had to use Epstein's, and some of which may or may not have ended up on that island. And we know things were really, really untoward that happened to young women on that island, including sex abuse and crimes and rape. So you got Elon Musk saying, you know why the Epstein files haven't been released? Because Donald Trump's name's all over them. Then he comes back in a snarky way and says, well, I'll apologize when all the files are released. Donald Trump, in his interview with NBC, says a version of old news. I don't know, old news that you're a pedophile? I mean, old news what? Old news, that was already looked at. Epstein's lawyers, old news. It's whatever I say it is. Okay. Then release the files. I mean, you're getting around to releasing the JFK files, the RFK files, the Martin Luther King Jr. files, which, by the way, are only being released to tarnish the reputation of Martin Luther King Jr. Do all that, release the Epstein files. But I want to focus on this hot take, on the threat and what it shows you about this weird stew of a brain up with Donald Trump. He's so worried about Elon Musk with his hundreds of billions of dollars that swamps Donald Trump's finances, by the way. Even if he doubles or triples his net worth, I'm talking about Donald Trump now, over the next 2 or 4 years, he will still, let's say he triples it to 18 billion. Elon Musk has $350 billion. Okay. It's more than, it's almost 200 times larger than that. So it's not about the money. He's worried about Elon Musk's money. Now, Elon Musk doesn't always successfully buy elections. The voters rejected him in Wisconsin, rejected him in in North Carolina in two Supreme Court races. He was about 50-50 when he supported elected officials, whether they won or not. But they're scared. If he pumps a fair amount of his wealth into midterm elections, it could turn the tide. Donald Trump will already be on an epic losing streak by then. The poll numbers show that he's in the trash with independents. And if Elon Musk exploits that, as I said, as the ultimate insider whistleblower, it will hurt Donald Trump. It will hurt MAGA at the midterms as we try to recapture the House and the Senate to restore a balance of power in this country. The fact that Donald Trump felt he had to do it himself, instead of relying on his lackeys around him, his bootlickers around him, tells you everything you need to know. How he's lost it, completely lost it, just sullying the office of the presidency, using it for a personal printing press for money, selling pieces of himself in public to foreign adversaries. Donald Trump selling himself to the Chinese, and now worrying about what an Elon Musk no longer tethered to the White House could do to him. I'll tell you another area Elon Musk can cause maximum damage, and that is in the pending lawsuits. Sure, there have been a couple of rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court on procedural grounds that give Donald Trump a win when it comes to Doge and Musk. For now, Doge is going to be able to take a look at all of our Social Security, disability, medical, tax, and other information, even though they're not effectively an agency, which is what the Supreme Court has said. So they gave him that win. But these other cases, like the Judge Chutkan case in the D.C. court, in which he's trying to determine, a case brought by 14 or so attorneys general, is whether Elon Musk was properly appointed. We know he wasn't confirmed by the Senate. So if he wasn't confirmed, why isn't that a violation of the Appointments Clause? And if it's a violation of the Appointments Clause, then everything he did is what we call void ab initio, void from the moment it was created. All of those decisions would have to be redone by a new properly appointed through the Senate process person. Right now, the Doge is effectively being run by Russ Vought, who is the head of the Office of Management and Budget, holds the nation's checkbook in his greasy little hands. He's also the architect of Project 2025. So we got those cases below that matter. And if Elon Musk, who's under oath in many of those cases to give sworn testimony, flips on Donald Trump and craps all over Trump and himself for all of his bad deeds, that's a bad sign for the Doge cases. There's about 10 or 11 of them left out there against Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has a lot to lose, and his ego is not going to let him put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Not after Elon Musk crossed all of those red lines, calling Donald Trump effectively a pedophile, saying that he should be impeached, endorsing his impeachment, endorsing J.D. Vance becoming the vice president, and Donald Trump stepping down. In fact, J.D. Vance took to one of those bro podcasts over the weekend and said, "It's insane what he's doing. He's a madman. And no, I don't want to be president." We know that. We know you're not qualified to be the president of the United States. So we're going to continue to follow the Musk-Trump battle, not from the salacious People Magazine, TMZ viewpoint, although that is interesting, but from the impact on Donald Trump's legacy, his lawsuits, and what would happen at the midterms. I think that is a much more interesting story to be told here on Legal AF. Glad you're here. Weekend editions of Legal AF are always very, very important to me. We pick up the pieces from what happened during the week. There's always new information and new developments at the intersection of law and politics that we capture on the weekend as well in real time. On Legal AF, I got about a dozen contributors joined together with me here, and we're joined together with you in this movement together because it matters. We've got to talk truth to each other before we can talk truth out in the streets and help during the midterm turn this around, restore balance of power, restore checks and balance, and stop lurching from one abuse of power by the president to the next. That stops, or it starts to stop at the midterms. So until my next Reporting, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.